Welcome back to the channel. Today, of course, as always, we're talking about Wrexham Football Club. Today, I'm going to be bringing you a roundup of everything that's happened at the football club over the past week or so. It has been a hectic period for Wrexham Football Club. A lot has gone on. There's a lot to report about. But before we get going in today's video, if you haven't clicked the red subscribe button already, please consider doing so. We're on the road to 27,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can go for 350 likes on today's video. And of course, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below on something we're going to be talking about later on. And of course, a big thank you to everyone that has further supported the channel. It'll be on screen here as I am talking. And if you would like to support the channel further, it's the first link in the description down below. Like I said, I cannot thank everyone enough who of course just even supports the videos, because March was a very good month for the channel. So let's try and keep up into this April period, which could be a historic period for this football club. So we're going to be starting off with some transfer news now. A very early bit of transfer news. Of course, the League One season hasn't even ended yet and we're still getting linked with players, and I think this transfer news we should take with a pinch of salt, but it's well worth a look at, because this player we're going to be talking about was born and raised in Wrexham, and the player in question and the player we've been linked with is Tom Lawrence. Now, a lot of Welsh Wrexham fans will know Tom Lawrence, of course, from being a Welsh international, but for my worldwide viewers, he's a player that's well known across England, Scotland and Wales for good and bad reasons. He's had a really good playing career, of course, making himself a well-established Championship centre attacking midfielder, playing for the likes of Derby County, where he really played well under Wayne Rooney and had a really successful 4 or 5 seasons at the Rams. Blackburn Rovers he's played for, and Ipswich Town, and of course his current club up in Scotland, Glasgow Rangers. Now, like I said, he proved to be a well-established centre attacking midfielder in the Championship, a player that I think at the time, a couple of years ago, every team would have had him in their lineup, because he was just that player that added the flair, the goals, the assists, the creativity, and of course he's continued that form up in Scotland for Glasgow Rangers. But in 2019, this is where the bad news sort of comes out. Lawrence was involved in a car crash with fellow teammate at the time at Derby County, Mason Bennett. Both were over the speed limit and drink driving. They were coming home from a team meal, and in the passenger seat was Richard Keogh, a captain at Derby County at the time, who sustained an injury which kept him out for 15 months. A lot of people watching will probably remember this, of course, being a Welsh international. I think he was in and around the Wales team at the time, and I'm not sure what happened in the end. I think he got fined and 12 months banned from driving or something, but it made the headlines all across the UK because he was doing so well on the pitch, and for something like this to happen at such a good stage for Lawrence was just very surprising. So make of that what you will, that situation. But for me, in my opinion, it's 6 years on from that now. He was 25 at the time. He's, you know, a mature person now. He's 31 years old. So to me, it's not a major issue. He hasn't got a criminal record, you could say, of anything since. So I think it was a one-off for Tom Lawrence, and I think as a player-wise, we just need to be looking at a player. Of course, Phil Parkinson doesn't want to sign players who, in his words, don't pass the dickhead test. But Tom Lawrence, again, you can make of that what you will. There's clearly a talented player in Tom Lawrence, but injuries this season for Rangers have really hit him hard and have limited game time, and I think have really stopped him from unearthing his talent that he did have at Derby County. And it's been a successful time at Rangers. He's played plenty of games and he's got a couple of goals and assists to his name here and there, but I think this season he would have really wanted to have kicked on and cemented himself in that starting 11, and he hasn't done that, and it doesn't look like he's going to sign a new contract in the summer. Yeah, I think as well, looking at Tom Lawrence this season, it's important as well because he's registered 8 goal contributions in 25 games, as well as scoring the winning penalty in the round of 16 in the Europa League for Rangers against Fenerbahce. So he's still involved in these big games, these big European competitions, and I don't think you should be looking at his age now and seeing, 31 years old, he's got a couple of injuries here and there. The reports are saying there's a host of Championship clubs looking at Tom Lawrence, so if we are to make the step up to the Championship, there's a possibility that Lawrence could come to Wrexham. Of course, being born and raised in Wrexham, that surely gives us an advantage in that. And of course, the story that's going on at the football club, I think should interest Tom Lawrence. And, he's a centre attacking midfielder. He can be utilised in the wider areas. So in comparison to players we currently have, if he was to come into that starting 11, he would be an Elliot Lee type of player, more advanced player, probably playing that free roam to, get the best out of his creativity and, his just goal scoring prowess going forward. So yeah, I think this is definitely a signing and a player that we need to be keeping an eye on, because I think there's a big possibility that he could make the switch back over to the English Football League. But will it be to Wrexham? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. So moving on now to some news at Wrexham Football Club on the board. Now, Wrexham yesterday announced the appointments of Caroline Hutchinson, Thea Joyce, George Dewey, I've probably butchered that, and Ricky Engelberg with immediate effect. 4 new people that are joining the board of directors at Wrexham Football Club. They all have ties to More, Better and Maximum Effort, which are associated with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, so it does make sense. They've had their say as well on the 4 new appointments. Ryan and Rob said, and 4 new directors are not new faces to people at Wrexham AFC or the town. They've already been working tirelessly to improve our fortunes on and off the pitch, and we welcome them as official board directors, whilst shamelessly asking them to continue right on doing what they are doing. So it seems like, they've already been playing a role behind the scenes unofficially at Wrexham Football Club to, of course, help the club excel. So to have them officially tied down as official board members, I think is a good move going forward, and hopefully will just continue to improve the club step by step. They'll also further strengthen the board, providing an enhanced governance structure to support the CEO and senior leadership team. Now, the news that you've probably wanted to hear, and the news that you might have seen already surrounding Wrexham Football Club, it's reported by Fox Sports that it's highly likely Wrexham Football Club will go to Australia as part of our pre-season tour in July time. More specifically, Wrexham are rumoured to be playing A-League side Melbourne Victory at Marvel Stadium. So for all my Australian fans, your dream might be coming true. Wrexham Football Club could be going down under to play Melbourne Victory. It looks like this could be part of a tour which could see Wrexham go to Australia and New Zealand in pre-season. Now, Rob McElhenney went on to say some interesting things, and he said our 3rd biggest audience for Welcome to Wrexham is Australia. So there's obviously an untapped market there for Wrexham Football Club to go out and, get that pre-season tour, possibly grow the club's, exposure even further and really make a name for ourselves, because Australia has a rich history with big clubs coming there, and they often sell out. There's often a big attendance whenever, a big club does come to town. I'm not saying Wrexham are a big club in any way, shape or form, but if he's saying, Wrexham has a large, audience market over in Australia, there's a big chance this exposure that Wrexham Football Club and the fan base that we do have in Australia could grow even further. I saw a lot of Australian fans comment on this, and I've got to agree. If the game is promoted well in advance for it happening in July, and if the hype can be built around this, I don't see why we can't sell out the 50,000 seats inside the Marvel Stadium. If we could get 50,000, that would genuinely be ridiculous. And to sort of put it into further context, in the past year, my YouTube channel, 6.2% of the viewers in the past 365 days has come from Australia. So let me know in the comment section down below if you are watching from Australia, where you're watching from in Australia, and if you would go to the game between Wrexham and Melbourne Victory, and possibly another game when we're there. So talking now on tomorrow, Burton Albion at home, another huge game at the racecourse ground. I can't believe I'm saying this, because it seems like yesterday I was talking, the day before the Wycombe Wanderers game on the first day of the season. We enter the final 6 games of the League One season tomorrow, and it all starts with relegation threatened Burton Albion in front of the Sky Sports cameras. Nerves should rightly be running through everyone's body going into this, because, like I said, we've got 6 games left. That is it. And we are sat in second place, 3 points ahead of Wycombe Wanderers. It seems too good to be true. And, I think, like I said, like the players have said, we need to be taking one game at a time. And we suffered that draw, you could say, midweek against Cambridge. But on the other hand, it doesn't look like it's going to be a massive denting effect in our season, of course, with Wycombe drawing to Shrewsbury Town, so we're very lucky in that sense. But I think going into this game, a lot of people are glancing at the table and thinking it could be a walk in the park. But recently, Burton Albion have become a real tough unit to break down, and they've picked up some really good results showing on Tuesday night. They beat Leyton Orient at home 2-1, who of course Wrexham were defeated by a couple of weeks ago. So I think it's going to be a tough game. They're going to be a tough team that we're going to break down. They're at the bottom end of the table. If they get the first goal, it could be a long day for Wrexham Football Club. If we're chasing that goal, there'll be time wasting, but like I said, we need to get that first goal. It is so important to settle the nerves for the players, just the confidence for the rest of the game. If we get that first goal, it'll hopefully have a damaging effect on Burton Albion and just unlock that spark in the Wrexham team to just be hungry to go for more and more and more, because as we saw against Cambridge United, when we went 2-1 down, something just switches in the players, and I don't know why we didn't do that when it was 1-1, but the switch we do have, we're just so confident going forward, constantly trying to create those chances, And could a similar thing happen if we go, 1-0 up and, we're sort of protecting that lead? I'm not really too sure. It's all about game management at the end of the day, and if we are to go out with this with a 1-0 win, then I'll be more than happy, because a win is a win at this stage in the season. If we can pick up 3 points between now until the end of the season, then surely we've all got to be happy with that. Yeah, like I said, they're going to be tough to break down defensively. We need to be on our A game going forward. Crosses, creating chances, shots on goal. We need to be ruthless in front of goal, because these aren't going to be a walk in the park. I'm still confident we're going to get the job done. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would this be the game that you could see Wrexham Football Club slip up in and possibly ruin all the hard work up until now? But yeah, 6 games left. I'm so nervous. So if you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, make sure to click the red subscribe button. If you are new, like I said, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in another video. Let's hope for a big 3 points tomorrow up the town.